All right, the day has come for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yes, I never thought I would say that or be reviewing this or watching this, but it has happened. Uh, yes, horror has ruined other cartoons, other, whatever you want to call it, animation, and so forth. And it has now come for Winnie the Pooh. I mean, I don't know if there's any other Winnie the Pooh horror out there that's been done before, but yeah, it has happened now. And let's get into the IMDb plot, and then we'll have lots to talk about here. After Christopher Robin abandons them for college, shame on him, Pooh and Piglet embark on a bloody rampage as they search for a new source of food. Oh man, Pooh and Piglet on a rampage. Ay, ay, so poor Pooh. Unbelievable. Um, yeah, so lots to talk about here. So yeah, very easily, obviously, when I think a couple of months ago when word came out that this movie is coming, of course everybody wants to see this movie. I mean, Winnie the Pooh, blood, horror, what the hell's going on? They show some images, of course. Very easy marketing. Everybody wants to see this craziness. Um, whether it ultimately any good or not is a whole different story, and a lot more work needs to go into it to prove that. So let's just talk about this a little bit. Yeah, so Christopher Robin and Pooh and all the gang supposedly lived a good life, and then yeah, Christopher Robin, you know, went to college. I mean, what's he gonna do? and Pooh and Piglet didn't quite understand this, and got quite pissed off, and very pissed off, and yeah, are now taking it out on everybody. Everybody, anybody across their path is going to get the wrath of Pooh and Piglet. This is definitely not a cartoon. There is no wonderful colors and funny phrases and so forth like that. It is simply a very weird and creepy Pooh and a Piglet that definitely doesn't look like Piglet. I mean, Pooh has some similarities, sort of, but Piglet really doesn't look like Piglet. It looks a little bit kind of more like a warthog, or kind of, I don't know. But yeah, both are very angry and mean and just gonna be on a rampage. So, kind of almost think of it as Pooh and Piglet like a slasher movie. I mean, that's basically what you end up with here. Um, they seek revenge on Christopher Robin and at the beginning and proceed to torture him. And then, because why not? You went to college, shame on you. And then there's another group of young women who end up in the forest, and Pooh and Piglet kind of get wind that they're there, so they are also become a target. So Pooh and Piglet pick them off one by one. So like I said, the backstory is the usual, the story of Pooh and Christopher Robin and all that, but it basically becomes a slasher movie with Pooh and Piglet. They also don't really talk, and they're just there to kill whoever. Um, so it does get bloody if you're in, you're like me, you like the blood and guts part. You're gonna get some kills. It's gonna get bloody and so forth like that. There's one girl who's clearly in it just for her to. I don't believe she got naked, but she's just there to kind of show herself until she gets killed. Not really a spoiler alert. Everybody knows that's gonna happen. Um, you know, they show some things with Pooh, like Pooh dipping his hand in honey. I think it was supposed. It looked like it was honey, maybe mixed with blood. He's kind of eating it very weird. Pooh kind of seemed just like a big rubbery thing. I mean, not the Pooh that you kind of want to be squishy and kind of hug. He just seemed like some big rubbery weird thing. Um, I remember them, saying something about the rights to Pooh and all that, and maybe that's how they got away with doing this movie. I'm not sure all the technicals of how they got away with all this, but I'm sure they knew what they were doing before they put this out here and got sued by anybody. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously not looking exactly like the Pooh that, if you know Pooh, who you're used to, or Piglet, like I said. Um, at the beginning they kind of do some kind of sketch drawings, which still don't look anything like the real characters. And I'm kind of looking there. I'm like, we could have had some of the other characters. I mean, why not? But I think they mentioned that Eeyore was was killed. Poor Eeyore, he just had no luck. And some of the other ones. I happen to like Tigger, so then nice to see Tigger there. Although I'm not sure I would have wanted to see him kill anybody. I don't know. That'd been weird. But yeah, so it is pretty simple. I mean, like I said, it's Pooh, it's Piglet, it's a slasher movie. They're going to chase a bunch of women around and kill them. There's a scene kind of where, Pooh is there, a couple of guys are going to come to the rescue, and Pooh, he looked kind of bigger than people, but kind of closer to his size, and then in that scene, looks like he ate a lot of honey and maybe expanded. I don't know, it was weird. But also kind of disposes of them. The girls are going to fight back a little, not a whole lot, and a lot of them are going to get killed. There were a couple of scenes that had me kind of like, what are you doing? There's one girl kind of jumps into this pool that doesn't really look like a big pool. Maybe it's like sort of an indoor pool, but it looked kind of shallow and short. And I was like, to me, it seemed like there were plenty of opportunities for her to escape, but instead, she's just kind of floundering around there in the water, and then, bad stuff happens. I don't know. I took note of there's a scene where they specifically drag girl out, have car run over her head. It's good horror, makes a lot of blood and guts. It was kind of weird how she was still screaming as, basically her eye is on the floor, but whatever. Fun times. It's horror. Okay. I'm good with that. Doesn't make total sense, but okay. But then later Pooh goes and steps on some other person's head. So, you have two heads smushing. If Pooh could do that, why they need the car? I don't know. Just things like that. I just happen to notice that. I don't particularly like nitpicking, but I happened to catch that and was kind of like, okay. But yeah, you're gonna get your blood, you're gonna get your guts, and Pooh's gonna get some honey, and he's gonna kill some girls, and yeah, that's about it. They kind of tweaked the story to kind of fit, to put them in the situation and so forth. But I didn't think that at the end of the day there was anything new, anything amazing here, anything crazy besides them being in this movie. I mean, it is all about, holy shit. Winnie the Pooh is killing people, or at least this version of Winnie the Pooh is killing people, and this version of Piglet is killing people. But besides that, like I said, you could take them out, put Jason, put some other person you've created as a killer, and they would have been the killer, and that's what you get. So, that's what it was. I don't know. I didn't really have any expectations, so I don't really expect them to do certain things or not. But if you're looking to kind of do something really different or really whatever, that doesn't take place, at least in my opinion. Again, besides using Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, that is the only big difference. Otherwise than that, it's just another horror movie. Here it seems, he's got 3.6 out of 10 on IMDb out of 10,000 plus ratings. So, that shows a lot of people saw this, and I guess a lot of people don't seem too happy with it. Interestingly enough, at the end of the movie, it says Winnie the Pooh will be back. If it is cartoon, it does come back. Cartoons don't go away, just like remakes. But yeah, I mean, if they do it again, they do it again. I mean, okay. It's kind of interesting. Like I said, it is very easy marketing the first time around. Every horror fan is like, "Holy crap, Winnie the Pooh is going to kill people. I need to see that." Then you watch it and you're like, "Okay," and then that's it. Can they do something in a sequel that will make people really want to see it, or maybe enjoy it more than this one? I don't know. My guess is they would maybe pull. I don't remember if they said at the beginning they killed off all the other characters or not. I think I remember them saying Eeyore died, but I don't know if they also killed off everybody else. Um, but maybe bring another character in or whatever, or I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think the challenge, I guess, is to kind of do something different or do something new or do something unique, besides just Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. That's unique in itself, but okay. But then everything else just seemed like the regular horror movie, and I guess that's where it kind of missed out, and that might be. I didn't really read what people's complaints are with the movie, so but that would be my kind of guess to maybe some of the stuff they didn't like. Um, Again, Piglet and Pooh don't talk, but whatever. Maybe they could have added some lines for them to say more, to kind of interact a little bit more. I mean, the characters do talk, so whatever. But you don't have to. Jason doesn't talk, and Leatherface doesn't talk. I mean, they're characters that don't talk, so I guess you don't have to. But whatever. I don't know. I don't know what I didn't read what other people didn't like. But I think that at least in my mind, that's the issue with it. It's like besides them there, it's just another horror movie. You could have replaced them with anything else, and it would have been another horror movie. So with that, I'm gonna give it 2 pools of blood. Like I said, it's got blood and guts in it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. The effects weren't bad. But outside of that, and the movie's really dark and so forth, and I don't know, Pooh and Piglet are just weird looking, but besides that, like I said, the movie's very dark, and that's what it is. It's a typical, dark, out in the forest horror movie. Um, and I guess, at least that's where I'm coming from with this. Um, so with that, again, that's 2 pools of blood out of 5 for Winnie the Pooh. No, I'm not going to sing it. He doesn't deserve it. Good grief. Uh, horrorreviews.blogspot.com. It's where you can find more of my reviews, written and video. And but if you're just interested in the video reviews, you can subscribe to the channel, like, notifications, thumbs up, down, and all that stuff that everybody wants you to do, or not. Don't do it. Whatever. I won't send Winnie the Pooh after you. Twitter, Facebook, information down below as well. Reach out to me, talk about this movie, other movies, horror in general. And definitely in the comments section, if you saw this movie, what you thought, what you liked, didn't like, and what characters would you, or maybe there's another cartoon that you would have preferred to see them make and go kill a bunch of people in. God knows they could have done Toy Story. I mean, imagine if when Andy went to college and left them behind, you could have Woody and Buzz killing people left and right, maybe Slinky Dog strangling people, and I don't know, Buzz teams up with Zurg and decides to kill some people. I don't know. You could have done a lot of stuff. Mr. Potato Head, he could have gone nuts. Then you could have fried him at the end. I don't know, whatever. Lots of stuff you could have done with Toy Story, kind of a similar thing going on there. But anyway, enough of that. I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.